Nachi free.
Gary Johnson, the only sane choice and voice in this presidential election year, gave a great speech here in Miami over at the Florida International University this week. And what made the speech great is the fact, are all the things he didn't say. All the things he didn't promise, like Hillary Clinton, just promising free college, promising to just wipe out college debt, and just adding more to the national debt. And people do, yeah, man, he's gonna be free. Oh my God. Anyway, and also he did not paint himself out to be the law and order candidate like Donald Trump, which is ironic considering how many times Donald Trump has alluded to shooting people, all right? Like this little comment a couple months back.
Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible.
I still think Donald Trump is hilarious, okay? I think he could be our comedian-in-chief, but whatever. The point is, following are some of the highlights that I think are worth listening to from Gary Johnson's speech at FIU. However, if you want to watch the whole speech on your own, I put a link down below. But these are the reasons why I think this man is definitely worth voting for instead of Hillary or Trump. Okay, those are the wasted votes. Hillary and Trump are the wasted votes, not Gary Johnson. But you know what? I'm going to let him speak for himself. Here you go.
Libertarians. I think the majority of people in this country are libertarian. It's just that they don't know it. That's keep the government out of my pocketbook and keep the government out of my bedroom. It is being fiscally conservative. Lower taxes means less money out of your and my pocket that we could be spending on our lives as opposed to government knows best. And I have one bit of advice for everybody here. My advice is worth exactly what you're paying for it. But whatever it is that you're doing in life, apply it entrepreneurially. You will never have a greater reward than creating your own job or creating millions of jobs for other people. Crony capitalism. Crony capitalism is alive and well. And crony capitalism is when the government injects itself into the economy and picks winners and losers. And regrettably, I think that most Americans associate free trade with crony capitalism when free trade is the opposite of crony capitalism. Free trade is when government doesn't inject itself and pick winners and losers. Bill Weld and I are pledging to submit a balanced budget to Congress in the first 100 days. A balanced budget is about the future. The balanced budget is being able to provide for all of us, for our kids, for our grandkids, into the future. So that means reforming the entitlements. Medicaid and Medicare, still providing a safety net, but addressing these issues that have us basically spending or printing money for 20 cents out of every dollar that we're currently spending. And taxes. Count on the certainty of Johnson and Weld that taxes are not going to go up. Count on the certainty that we will sign on to any proposals that reduce taxes or simplify taxes. We're not getting elected king, we're not getting elected dictator, we're getting elected president and vice president. And there are constitutional limits to that. But if I could wave a magic wand, I would like to eliminate income tax and corporate tax. For corporate tax. Well, you and I pay for corporate tax. We could replace all of it with one federal consumption tax. If we had one federal consumption tax, there would be tens of millions of jobs created in this country for no other reason. Why would you start up or grow a business anywhere in the world other than the United States? We had a free market approach to healthcare, which we don't. Healthcare is as far removed from free market as it possibly could be, but if we had a free market approach to healthcare, we would not have insurance to cover ourselves for ongoing medical need. We would pay as you go in a system that would have advertised pricing and advertised outcomes, and I'm going to predict that the cost would be about 1/5 of what it currently is. We'd have stitches are us, we'd have gallbladders are us, we'd have x-rays are us. Advertised pricing, advertised outcomes, we would have insurance to cover ourselves for catastrophic injury and illness. But this is what would occur within a free market approach for healthcare. And don't you know right now, when you go to the doctor, you have no idea what it's going to cost. They don't even have any idea what it's going to cost. There's no advertised pricing. There's no advertised outcomes. And when you get the bill, you know that no one is paying the amount of money that has been said that you have actually consumed. You know that that hasn't taken place. That is healthcare today in this country. And I agree with Chief Justice Roberts that the healthcare system today right now is basically a tax. My health insurance premiums have quadrupled, and I haven't been to see a doctor for 3 years, but that's the tax that I am now accepting. You know, fiscally conservative, socially, really agnostic. Who cares what you are socially, as long as you don't force it on me. But we need to legalize marijuana in this country. We need to bring incarceration rate of any country in the world. I refuse to believe that we are any less law-abiding in this country than any other country in the world. It's because of mandatory sentencing. It's because of mandatory sentencing. It's because of the drug war. This is not unprecedented, but if we don't get out of Afghanistan tomorrow, I guess we're going to be there for another 20 years, and according to some, I guess we'll never leave Afghanistan. But this is what we do when we militarily intervene. We have the unintended consequence of making things worse, not better. Not planned, but when Obama and Hillary together decide to go in and support the opposition in Syria and Libya and arm the opposition gets beaten, they're the minority, and the arms end up in ISIS hands and strengthen ISIS. This is an unintended consequence of what we do militarily.
As a recent graduate, I'm really wondering how y'all plan to make higher education more affordable.
Okay, so the main, and this is crony capitalism. This is government at work. What is the main reason for the high cost of college tuition? It's guaranteed government student loans. That's the reason why college tuition is the way it is. If guaranteed government student loans never existed, I guarantee you that college tuition today would be half of what it is today. But that's the government interference. And students, I believe, have been sold a bill of goods. And that bill of goods is students are graduating from college today with a home mortgage without the home. So libertarians getting elected, former Republican governors, 2 terms, Democrat states hiring a very nonpartisan administration, Democrats, Republicans, all libertarian-leaning, reaching out to both sides to come to the middle. I think that third scenario really bears some looking at. And I think come November, I think a lot of people are going to consider that a wasted vote is going to be a vote for either Trump or Clinton.
Now, there's also rumor that Gary Johnson was kicked out of Versailles restaurant on Calle Ocho the next day after his speech. He wasn't kicked out. He was asked to, take his campaign outside, whatever. I don't know how it went down. I wasn't there. Look, Versailles restaurant's one of my favorite restaurants in Miami. And I hope they didn't give him a hard time because of his stance on free trade and the lifting of the embargo with Cuba, which I agree with. Though I feel like we should have kept some pressure on that murderous regime. However, the travel ban should have never been there in the first place. All right? Even as the son of 2 Cuban exiles who were put into a forced labor camp and kicked out of their own country, the travel ban to Cuba should have never been there. But whatever. The interesting thing about Gary Johnson was that he was wearing a guayabera outside, and he had a blazer on top of the guayabera, which goes to show the man can take the heat in Miami. Okay, he can take the Miami heat because he is a world-class athlete. Besides being a 2-term governor and a bona fide self-made millionaire entrepreneur, this guy could really save us from our financial and economic troubles that we're going through right now. This is the man to vote for. Okay, anyway, I hope this video makes sense, and thanks for watching.
Homegrown